This is a drug epidemic way beyond anything that we have seen before now.
A bus full of terrified passengers and an ice addict out of control.
Victoria Police is fighting to keep our streets clean.
6 police officers struggle with one crazed woman.
We investigate ice addicts and their devastating impact on families and communities.
Everyday people are becoming addicted, and ice is not only ruining their lives but their families' lives as well.
Growing up, my life was pretty chaotic. My dad was an alcoholic. He was very abusive. He was also gay, which caused a lot of bullying at school.
I had a really good upbringing. I had good parents, and I went to a pretty good school. But I was always a really wild kid, and I just wanted to be naughty.
My parents were both pastors and missionaries in the Philippines, so I grew up in a third world country. We travelled to 4 different countries growing up and 17 different schools. By the age of 12, I had an extremely confused identity. I was ashamed of having white skin. I had 5 different accents. And I felt out of place. I always thought I was adopted in my family.
My life growing up was not too bad, although I haven't really got too much to compare it to. It was pretty dysfunctional, I'd say. There was a bit of abuse as I was growing up, sexual abuse. I was sexually molested by a family friend, and that brought in I don't know, I guess you just call me the black sheep of the family.
I moved around a lot of schools. I can remember going to at least 10. So I just gave up on learning. I gave up on making friends. I just remember a lot of fighting. I remember feeling lonely. I just felt like I didn't have anyone around. I got into drugs fairly young, probably around 8 or 9. I would steal my dad's alcohol, smoke his cigarettes. There was also other drugs in their family, so it just kind of seemed the norm for me.
I started smoking pot and drinking at a really early age, and then it just escalated from there.
I was probably about 13 or 14, and I remember I was out at a mate's place, out on a property, and his old man grew dope, and we went out in the bush and found his marijuana plants and decided to roll them up. And
when I was 13, I started drinking and smoking. I stopped speaking to my parents. I developed this hatred towards my parents and towards God, and by the time I was 14 I was smoking pot every day. By the time I was 15 I was using acid and taking pills, and I tried ice for the first time when I was 17. By 21 I was hooked on ice, and by the age of 25 I was using 6 different drugs a day just to manage my mood.
From there it just kind of escalated, and I got introduced to heavier drugs, probably not until I was about 17.
I used to drink so much that I'd black out and then wake up days later out of comas. One time I woke up in the psych ward and I'd cut my own throat, jumped out a window and broke my back. I set my house on fire trying to commit suicide in it, and been in 6 comas on life support for trying to commit suicide. Each time I thought it couldn't get worse, but it did keep getting worse. And another time was I was held up in a house, held hostage and tortured for a while. That was probably one of the hardest rock bottoms I faced.
My rock bottom was the times when I was in the watch house, waiting to go to jail and do a sentence.
I had 2 abortions in my mid-20s, and that resulted in me feeling extreme self-hatred and not caring at all whether I lived or died. When I used to die. I ended up ODing twice, ended up in hospital, and was ashamed of who I'd become. I just wanted to die for a good 3 years there. I ended up in a very abusive relationship and had to escape the country because I was scared for my life, and he was threatening my family's life too. So I came to Australia.
What happened was I was just that scattered on speed and had been awake for that long and was just so desperate and my cousin said, oh, I know where there's $1,200 cash and I said, oh, where? And he goes, oh, Pop's house. And I'm like, nah, no way, we can't go and do that. And then the next thing you know, we were doing it, and yeah, and that's probably my rock bottom and really like just stealing from family and hurting my loved ones.
Transformations gave me a chance. All the other rehab said that I was too unwell. There was no hope for me. The doctor said there was no hope for me. But Transformation just gave me a shot, and my life is completely changed. It is so different. Like, I love being alive now, and it was just through love and kindness.
Before Transformations, I could never, probably the longest I ever had was a week or two clean in over 20 years. And since doing the program, I've got over 2 years clean.
Coming into Transformations actually changed my whole demeanour in life. It changed so many different areas, and it's continuing to change so many different areas.
I've found purpose. I've found what I was created for. Most of all, I found God, and I now have a relationship with God who loves me unconditionally. And now I can learn how to love myself. And I've discovered that life is all about loving people back to life. And there is beauty in brokenness, there is beauty in pain, and it can all be transformed.
I feel so happy, I feel so full of joy. I never even knew that I could feel this happy. I feel free. I feel so much hope, and I just want to help people. I just want to show people that there is hope and that they can feel freedom no matter what anyone says to them. And I just want to let people know to not give up on themselves and not to give up on anyone else going through stuff.
My life like now is a roller coaster of joy. I love my life. I've been clean 5 years now, and it took me 18 months to graduate the program, and I've spent the last 3.5 years in leadership, going from role to role to role, and learning. Everything is about learning. Every day I learn something new.
When I first come into the program, I came in just for a sugar addiction and thought it was just the eating the sugar and not looking after my body properly. But now God's just fully healing me in all areas of life, and wow, now I run my own business and do everything. It's just so freeing. It's just really the freedom that's within. That's what Transformations has done. It's just the freedom that's in my soul is so good.
My life's really good now. I just finished I finished the program, then I did a year as house supervisor for Transformations, and now I've got my own apartment, and I'm just having a holiday now, and living on the beach. So yeah, life's pretty good now.